Let's take you back live now to the State Capture Commission.
We have seen what you saw, namely former President Zuma's convoy.
Yes, because the motorcade is quite a number of cars. I'm of the view that he have seen the motorcade.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. Now let's move on to the question of cash. You, on your version, attended with Mr. Gigaba at the Saxonwold residence of the Guptas on 6 or 7 occasions. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you say in an earlier period of time, you also observed him at the premises of Sahara in, I think, 2004. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, you've also testified, I've seen from your testimony and your statement, that you observed a number of people. I don't need to call out their names. We know who they are. On various occasions, carrying bags with money and then going to deposit that money at a vault somewhere. I'm not sure where you described it. I don't think it's important. Do you agree with me?
That's correct.
On none of the occasions did you ever see Mr. Gigaba coming to or from either Sahara or the Gupta residence with a bag full of money. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And on no occasion did you take him to a vault and witnessing what you surmise to be the depositing of money. Is that correct? Do you agree?
I don't remember taking the minister to the vault.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
He says he doesn't remember taking the minister to the vault.
Yes. Well, had you done so, you would have remembered.
Of course, yes.
Yes. So we can assume you never did. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then if we go to your witness statement, Chair BB 14 little d, witness 1-3-126, paragraphs 25 to 28. Does Chair have it?
I have got page 126 and I've got the bundle. You say paragraphs?
25 and over the page up to 28. You'll
Yes.
see, Chair, it's
I've got
headed cash carried by Gigaba.
Yes.
Does witness 3 have it?
Yes, I do.
Now, you don't need to read that out. You can cast your eye over it. There's no reference there in your statement to Mr. Gigaba having collected or received any cash from the Gupta residence. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, could you then explain why, in your evidence, which we find, Chair, SEQ 07/21, paginated page 55, typed page 119, does Chair have it?
Did you say page 55?
I did, Chair, and 119 at the foot of the page, type page 119.
Yes, I've got it, yeah.
Does witness 3 have it?
Yes, I do.
So can you explain, if you look at line 14, it really starts at line 12, you were asked by Mr. Pretorius, are you able to say where the money came from? And you say, I could not tell that time, but as we make some visits, then I could connect the dots to say the money came from the Saxonwold residence. And then I'm going to take you through Mr. Pretorius's questions, but let's just focus on that. So here you are saying that you are able to tell the Commission that you say that the cash that you allegedly saw in the possession of Mr. Gigaba, he acquired and got possession of from the Gupta residence. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, can you explain to the Chair why you were prepared to make that statement when you have admitted that you never saw him on 6 or 7 occasions, as you did with other witnesses, collecting money from the Gupta residence? Why were you prepared to make that statement, incriminating my client with no evidence whatsoever?
Okay, thank you, Chair. I think I was of the view that the money that I had seen carried by the former minister came from the Gupta family. It is because, in my view, every time that we go there, maybe after a day or two, I would see money from the boot of his car in a bag full of money.
But
so, hence I said I connected the dots. I meant that I was of the view that he may have found the money from the Gupta.
But you had 6 or 7 occasions to observe him, as you observed other witnesses, and you've confirmed that on none of those occasions did you see him taking a bag into or coming with a bag out of the Gupta residence or observing that he was taking cash from there. You've conceded that. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
I want to know why you were prepared to come to this commission and speculate and draw conclusions adverse to my client to incriminate him without any evidence whatsoever. I'd like you to explain why you felt that was part of your function coming to give evidence before this commission.
Like I said, I was of the view that he may have found the money from the Gupta because of our frequent visits to the compound.
Let me put this question. Are you able to concede that what you were saying, namely that you could connect the dots to say the money came from the Saxonwold residence, would it be correct to say that was simply a suspicion on your part?
It may be, Chair.
Okay, all right.
Thank
I don't
you.
know if that helps, Mr.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
And you did not voice that suspicion in your statement. I take it your statement was taken in consultation with one of the evidence leaders, perhaps Mr. Pretorius, Advocate Pretorius. Is that correct? Is it correct?
Witness Rick, did you hear the question?
Not clearly, Chair.
The question is whether The question is, do you agree that in your affidavit you did not express that suspicion?
Yes, I did not.
And the next question that counsel for Mr. Gigaba asked was whether your statement was taken from you by one of the evidence leaders of the commission, maybe Mr. Pretorius.
That's correct.
So what we need to understand, witness 3, is at the time when you made your statement, your affidavit for the purposes of this commission, you did not voice any suspicion and you had not connected the dots. Is that correct? Is that
suspicion
correct?
has been there, but maybe I didn't voice it to the evidence leader.
I beg your pardon?
He says the suspicion was there, but maybe
Suspicion
did not.
has been there.
But maybe he did not voice it to the evidence leader.
And what made you then voice it during your evidence, your oral testimony?
I think I remembered now. Remember, these things happened quite some time back. As I was engaging, that's when I started to remember, and yeah, I said it.
So you'd forgotten about your suspicion when you did your statement? Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you only connected the dots when you gave your testimony. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did
That's
anyone assist you in connecting those dots between the time that you gave your statement on the 14th of September 2020 and when you gave your evidence? Do you have an answer?
Did you hear the question, witness 3?
Chair, could you please clarify the question for me?
The question is whether anybody assisted you to connect the dots before you gave evidence and said that you connected the dots and concluded that the money came from the Saxon World residence.
No one assisted me, Chair.
All right. You've said that Mr. Gigaba appeared nervous to you when he was exited the vehicle. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But he wasn't in your vehicle. How could you have observed that?
On the drop-off, he jumped out of the car and he started to run towards the main door. For
Why?
me, it was very odd, unusual for him to be running into a meeting in that manner.
And was this on all occasions? On the 6 or 7 occasions, he would jump out and sprint to the front door?
It happened once.
Only once? Okay.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Gigaba denies that he was nervous on the 1 or 2 occasions that he would have gone there during that period, or that he ever sprinted out of his car. You don't have to comment. I'm just putting to you what his version is.
I'm looking at my watch.
I was hoping you wouldn't, but I understand that you are.
Yeah, I think you are over. You may be over by 2 minutes, but you can wrap up.
Thank you. I just want to put to you that, quite an important question. Just describe the bag that you say you saw in Mr. Gigaba's, the boot or trunk of his car that had the money you say you saw.
It was a travel bag, traveling bag.
Travel bag. What do you call a travel bag? Is that one of those bags on 4 wheels that we see important people boarding planes with as part of their hand luggage? I see you smiling behind the mask, Chair.
Yes. I've had evidence where a witness said he had been offered a lot of money in a bag, and when he was asked to describe the bag, he said it's like those bags that lawyers carry.
Touche, but you are a lawyer too, Chair, in the broader sense.
Okay, all right. You might need to repeat your question for the witness.
Yes. I was asking you, witness 3, when you say it's a travel bag, is just so we can understand, is it one of those bags we see people on aeroplanes with that have normally 4 wheels and a handle, and you wheel them onto an aircraft? Is that what you call a travel bag?
That's correct.
That's different to a sports bag. Not the same thing. Do you agree?
Bag.
Sorry, I spoke over you. Do you agree?
Is it different from a sports bag, witness 3?
Yes, it is different, yeah?
Well, I've got to wrap up, but I'm just going to put the references. We won't go there to save time, but you've described page 249, lines 7 to 8. Sorry, that would be, let me give the correct reference, Chair. That would be SEQ 07/21, page 56.
Let me just say, when you say /21, it's /2021.
2021,
yes,
sorry.
Yes. And what page?
Page 56.
Yes.
Cut
Okay.
page 120.
Yes.
You then, this will just be my last submission, you describe it there at line 7 to 8 as the bag you saw is a sports bag. Does Chair see it?
Yes, I can see it. Do you see it, witness 3? At page 56, line
Yes,
8.
I do, Chair.
You do see it?
Yes, Chair.
So what counsel is putting to you is that in your evidence you described the bag as a sports bag, but you have today agreed with you have agreed when he asked you whether the bag you were talking, the travel bag, is a bag that is different from a sports bag, and it's a bag that people normally carry when they go to board aeroplanes. That's what he is putting to you. What do you have to say about that?
Chair, a sports bag, I think I have one myself. I travel with that bag. I can put my luggage in there as well. That's what I'm referring to. You travel with a sports bag as well.
I must just say, counsel, I was hesitating when you used the example of aeroplanes, whether the description was clear enough for the witness, but I let it go.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, but we've got on record that in his words, it was different to a sports bag. But,
Yes.
but we'll leave that for you, Chair.
Yes.
I just want to say to you that he denies he carried large sums of money with him, and if on occasion he paid for a meal, he may have had some cash with him, but he certainly wasn't carrying large sums of cash. You can comment or not, but I'm just putting that on record, witness 3.
Do you want to say anything to that, witness 3?
No, thanks, Chair.
Then,
I'm sorry, is that thanks you won't comment or you would like to comment? Witness 3?
No, I'm not commenting, Chair.
Okay, all right.
Chair, bearing in mind the time constraints, I had more questions, but I'll defer to the Chair now.
Yes, yes.
As they say in the Senate, I'll yield back to you, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, no, that's all right. Of course, there is still the other issue that you will discuss with
I'll
Mr.
discuss
Pretorius,
with Mr. Pretorius.
and there may be, we'll see how that one is resolved.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Pretorius, counsel for witness 3, do you want to ask some questions before he does, or shall I allow him to re-examine?
Chair, given the implications of a certain line of questioning a learned friend, and certain innuendos contained in his questioning, to which I have an objection, but I'll deal with it off the record.
Yes.
I need to place certain passages of the evidence on record to clarify the situation regarding the evidence of number 3, but in the meanwhile, I think there is a request for re-examination from the representative of witness 3.
You will do that later.
I'll do that later.
Okay, all right. They didn't sanitize before you came in, but they must then sanitize now.
Yes, I'll wash my hands.
Yeah. Okay, all right.